Good morning, everybody. This is First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich. I want to give you an update on the severe weather threat this afternoon. If you watched my video early this morning or later this morning when I reposted it at about 7 a.m., things are starting to unfold, unfortunately, exactly the way it looked with last night's model data. First and foremost, let me show you where the watches are. Everything in pink, all these counties, pretty much Interstate 77 West, is under a tornado watch until 4 p.m. Remember, a watch means conditions are favorable for tornadoes to form in and around the watch area. This is like a heads up. When there's a warning, that means a tornado was spotted by a person or by Doppler radar. That means you need to seek shelter now. That's pretty simple. Watch is a heads up. Simply that. Watch for severe weather. When there's a warning, it's happening. So it's a twofold warning process. Watch, then warning. We're under the watch already. It's in effect till 4 o'clock. Now, if you live east of here, doesn't mean you're not under the gun. It just means the threat's a little bit later today. And I would suspect by 12 o'clock we're going to see a tornado watch for the rest of the Carolinas. So let me go over the two areas we're watching carefully. First, this line down to the south. This is the one that's a little bit more severe looking than the one to the north. You can see a couple tornado warnings already. In fact, this one down here in southern Alabama, that's a confirmed tornado on the ground. If I click on that, you can see there's tornado has been spotted with this storm. So anytime I see that fat polygon, I know it's been spotted. Another tornado warning east of Atlanta heading towards Augusta. For our area, there's two lines. There's this line back to the west. This is the actual cold front, and there could be isolated strong storms along this. The tornado threat's there. It's not as much as it is with this line, but it's still there. Damaging winds, the primary concern. One of the things I look at quite a bit is the significant tornado parameter, or what I call STP. You can see it's pretty much peaking right now over Georgia, Alabama, and South Carolina, but it's beginning to creep up here in North Carolina, and later today, it's going to be through the roof back here into eastern North Carolina. Why is this happening so quickly? Well, a couple things are going on. We've got a lot of moisture, and we're talking a lot of moisture for this time of year. Look at, that's the dew points. Look at this plume of rich air. 60 to 70 degree dew points are surging up ahead of the cold front, which is clearly easy to see where it is. The other thing that's going on, if you look in the mid-levels of the atmosphere, and I'll show you what that looks like, you can see this 500 millibar trough coming in here. It's becoming negatively tilted as it pushes east, which means the low part, the main part of the trough, is going to lag back, and the bottom part is going to accelerate out, which means these lines are going to start spreading apart. That's called diffluence, and that diffluence is actually going to cause a lot of lift. If I look at the 300 millibar heights as well, you're starting to see that develop. That does a couple of things. It causes lift over the Carolinas, and it causes increased wind shear with height, which means the wind is changing direction with height, which basically, in layman's terms, means once you get a thunderstorm to form, which is a tower of air, it will start to rotate. You will get rotating updrafts. So simply put, this trough is beginning to intensify and become negatively tilted, while at the same time, we've got this big plume of unreal tropical air for this time of year. It's not so much the warmth per se, while that's part of it. To me, the most amazing part of this whole thing is these dew points. We have dew points in the 60s. It's one thing to be in the 70s in February. It's a completely different thing to have humidity and a heat index, basically. In fact, if I look at the heat index right now, I don't see it showing up in some of these locations, but there's actually a heat index value out there higher than the actual air temperature, which is in the low 70s. So later today, we're going to watch this area east of Charlotte, especially Storm Prediction Center has upgraded the entire eastern part of the state to a moderate risk. Please have a safety plan ready to go today if a warning is issued. The only good news I have for you, this system's going to move in and out quickly. So once this main line back in the North Carolina mountains moves through, which should happen between 3 and 4 this afternoon, the threat will diminish. Of course, I'll be on air, online, throughout the afternoon. I'm heading to work right now. And please tell your friends and your friends of friends, make sure they follow me on Facebook and Twitter. We post those warnings in real time. When you're away from the TV, you have the smartphone or your computer. It's the best way to keep up. I plan on streaming if we get severe weather this afternoon as well, which means you can watch online on your phone or your tablet if you're away from the TV. Got to run right now. I'll see you today. Hopefully not too much on air, but I'll definitely be on starting at 4.